Welcome to SM Live at GSX 2023. I'm your host, Teresa Anderson, Editor-in-Chief of Security Management Magazine and VP of Content for ASIS International. Watch these screens throughout the week for insights from thought leaders and industry experts, as well as for more information on ways to connect, share, and learn here in Dallas. The cannabis industry has gone mainstream. States around the United States and jurisdictions around the globe are regulating and professionalizing the field. ASIS will be launching an ANSI standard on cannabis security in the next few months. Tim Sutton of Guidepost Solutions is here to tell us what a standard will mean to the industry.
The cannabis industry is unique. Because of the way it developed, many facilities and retail stores have been left lacking in security, and they need guidance. Standards for cannabis security will help in three major areas. One, the protection of assets, including employees and customers. Two, prevention of burglaries and robberies. And three, normalizing security procedures and processes, including good manufacturing practices.
Cybersecurity continues to top the list of security concerns for practitioners around the world. Two leading experts in the field are here with us to discuss the privacy implications around cyber threats and the most important issues for security professionals to watch out for in the coming year.
Well, identity theft definitely is one of the threats that is increasing dramatically, and we have to take measurements seriously to take care about the information and the data of everybody around that, which is employees, which is customers, which is everything around the supply chain. So just in 2020, the cost, it was $56 billion. That is not, a quantity that you just said, oh, it's not important, because it's increasing, right? So there is a ton of standards that we can use just to take care about that measurements and those procedures. And of course, the normatives are very important. So normatives depends on what is your business. Doesn't matter the size of your business, but where you operate. So in the past, everything was centralized. But now, with this, taking care about the data is not the same thing, because it depends on the regulations and the laws, each of the country and city that you are working with. So let's start with privacy, right? Privacy is a human right, but privacy is also related with transparency. How I am manage your information. That has something that has to be clear for the others. For the owner of the data. And that's why identity theft is just being like super lack, and there is a tons of databases that are selling in the dark web. So it's because we are just collecting the data. It's probably because we don't have the correct measurements just to take care about them. And that is something that we have to be in our mind and focus on. So I think this important topic, there is a ton of standards that we can follow just to put in place the proper measurements and measure them. That is something important. It's not something that you put in place and let it okay, it's done. So it's important that companies, it doesn't matter the size, it doesn't matter what they do, take and put in place the proper measurements and monitoring them all the time, because risk change all the time and the world change all the time, and it's very fast and it's not easy just to follow the same speed, right? So it's important the security procedures, because sometimes there is a confusion between, what is privacy, what is security, what is data, what is information, and everything is related. But the transparency is important. And by design, we have to take care about data.
I think today the most challenging thing security professionals are facing is upskilling the technicians that are out in the field. We've got all of these risks, we've got technology, we're trying to mitigate some of those risks with the technology, but if they're not implemented properly, then we're going to have a big problem. When I started as a technician, we had to learn about angles and fields of view and backlight compensation. Now all of that's automated, but we're really not investing in the technicians to upskill them to be able to work in today's networking environment. So I think if we invest in that, make sure that they have the education that they need, we're going to also mitigate a lot of the risks and threats by putting the technology in securely.
School safety and security is one of the most critical issues facing the security industry. Experts here at GSX have insights into the most important steps schools can take to prevent violence.
Good day, folks. My name is Jeff Slotnick, and I've been asked to speak to you today on behalf of ASIS regarding school security. Nothing is more important than our most precious assets, which are our children. A good school security program is comprised of three legs of a stool: behavioral threat management, physical security, and emergency operations and planning. In order to facilitate that, let's take each of those in order. Behavioral threat management is important because it helps us to identify those that may be in crisis ahead of time that would perpetrate school violence. A good physical security program does not start at your front door. It's not about magnetometers or school resource officers, although those are a component of physical security. We want to push school physical security out to the street. A good school security program includes physical security, which is detection, delay, and response. We want to push out detection as far as we can away from the building. We want to have enough delays in the system to allow our first responders to get there in time to stop the incident before it even gets into the school building. Once it's in the building, it's too late. Good locks, good doors, locking systems, access control, vestibules, protected glazing with wire reinforcement, as well as ballistic films on vestibules can prevent a lot of issues. Having an emergency operations plan so that when an incident does occur, we know what to do. Waiting for an incident to occur to practice something is too late. When an incident occurs is the time for leadership. So in order to be good leaders, we have to know what we're going to do. And that requires exceptional training and developing in our plans, policies, and procedures, tabletop exercises and things like that. You ask any child what to do in a fire, and they'll tell you. They will count it down, right? Drop, cover, roll, or escort out the building 2 by 2. The last person out the door closes the window, turns out the lights, and shuts the door, and we all walk out the building in an orderly fashion, right? I learned that in elementary school. We need to have the same approach to security and other emergencies as well, whether that's an evacuation, a shelter in place, or a lockdown. Those are the things that we can do today, all right, to ensure a good school security program. We have not lost a child in a fire since 1953. It's time that we put the same regulatory emphasis on school security to ensure good programs.
Navigating a professional security career can involve a lot of moving parts. Having relevant skills, finding a mentor, influencing the right people, it's an ever-shifting landscape. But experts are here at GSX to lend a hand in sessions, meetings, networking events, and at the Career HQ. Let's hear from some of them now.
Mikhail, I've learned that there are two key factors to success when it comes to preparing for your transition. The first is having a strategy. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely, Eric. I think having a plan is vital to a successful transition. In order to have a good plan, you have to give yourself plenty of time. So ensure you are planning ahead of time, whether it's months or years out, for your transition from the military into the private sector.
And we're not the first ones to do it, right? Thousands have come before us.
Right. So find a mentor. So find somebody that has either transitioned before you into whatever field you're looking to do, security field or specific company or government job, whatever you're looking to do. Find somebody to guide you. it'll be super helpful in the long run.
And guide you to resources. They're all out there. Again, we're not the first people to do it.
Absolutely. There are a plethora of resources out there, almost too many sometimes. So how do you weed through that? Well, you talk to somebody that was successful in doing it before you, and they can point you in that right direction and make sure that you're getting on that right path to success.
The second thing I've learned, it's a game changer. It's the biggest force multiplier, and that's professional certification. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, again, it is vital, I think. For myself specifically, my certification was a requirement for my job. So it was tremendous help in getting me and my foot into the door right away from my transition from the military into the private sector. So if you have the ability to get your PSP or CPP even prior to your transition, get that on your resume, and have your mentor help you with that. Have them help you study and pass that exam, and you'll be golden.
Game changer.
Yes, sir.
What's important to remember when we think about influence is that the old rules are out. The days of the red power tie or the $2,000 suit or the position of authority or title that used to give people influence is gone. Today, anyone who has a voice or wants to make sure their voice is heard, whether it's in a meeting, whether it's in society, has the ability to do that. But there are some very strict rules that we have to follow as we move forward in this new community. Things like being inclusive, having a service mindset, being willing to let people see who we are. That's how we build influence going forward. Throw out the red power tie, get on board with the fact that your voice matters, we need to hear from you, and start building your influence today to really have a difference in this world.
Security careers provide many opportunities to those looking for challenging and rewarding career. Security industry is continually developing, and there is increasing need for qualified security personnel with the latest knowledge and training. This provides significant opportunities for career development and advancement, as well as the chance to specialize in areas such as physical security, executive protections, and others. Development and success have become essential for young security employees to capitalize on this potential and accomplish their career goals. Take full responsibility for your own development and personal success. Required hard work and dedication. Don't wait for others to achieve your goals, but start making your personal journey and take advantage of the available opportunities everywhere. Your power and ability to change is in your hand. Take your personal journey and be your own maker. Continue learning and enhance your skills, staying up with the latest technology. Risk and development will help you to remain ahead of the curve. Build a strong network. Engage with other industry professionals. Will help you to learn from their experience. Attend conferences such as GSX and join professional association. Also volunteer on security organization. You can volunteer for any security organization, and also you can joining up with a mentor. A mentor may provide his direction, support, and recommendation based on their industry expertise. They can assist mentees identifying their strengths, weaknesses, setting goals, and also developing a strategy to achieve those goals. And thank you all.
Well, you know, being in the security industry for over 32 years, I've seen a real evolution, not just in the skill set that's needed, but also in the duties and responsibilities of security professionals. When I was a security officer around 32 years ago, my main responsibility was access control, making sure the proper people got in and the bad guys stayed out. So as we fast forward 32 years later, the skill set has to be much more various because now we're dealing with technology. The security officer of today is not just performing routine access control functions. They may be engaged in remote video monitoring from several states away. So as we look at the security professional of the future, that man or woman's going to have soft skills, be able to de-escalate threats. One of the biggest topics in security services right now is the use of force. How far do we go to really de-escalate those threats? And certainly when it comes to technology. So back 32 years ago, we were very, very basic in what we did. Now that security officer is interacting with a lot of different tools. So even cybersecurity is starting to bleed into the security services sector. So in the future, you're going to have a very well-rounded set of skills to make sure you're meeting all these needs and demands. So training is going to be very important, but that skill set is going to be paramount in the future.
GSX is the perfect place to supercharge your professional journey. Stop by the ASIS Hub to learn more about ASIS International, discuss career-boosting information, such as the military to civilian career resources, and celebrate your certification achievements with an interactive photo wall. While you're here, choose your ribbons and purchase the official 2023 GSX Dallas pin to benefit the ASIS Foundation. ASIS would love to hear about your attendee experience. We're asking attendees to please share their testimonials on why they attend and what they feel are the key benefits of GSX. We've made it as easy as possible for you to capture your story at your convenience. Just visit the link via this QR code, and once there, you'll see a prompt. Click on the question to begin your recording. You can re-record as many times as you like. Don't miss this opportunity. What are you most looking forward to here at GSX?
I have to say the educational sessions. I'm an instructor in one of the sessions that's going on right now. It's a workshop on facility security design, but most importantly, the amount of education that you get here at GSX, you'll find out not only as a novice, but also as a veteran, all the aspects of security and just understanding what it is, what it does, how beneficial it is for you. So it's unparalleled in the industry in terms of what you'll learn.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
So what are you looking most forward to here at GSX?
Well, particularly I've come a long way from Western Australia all the way to Dallas. It's a long trip, but what I find is catching up with old friends, but particularly meeting new people as well. We can have all the best online systems we can. We can share ideas, but it's nothing better than seeing people in person. And of course, all the displays and the education sessions are really a benefit.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
At Securitas, our global organization has been on a transformation journey, spending tens of millions of dollars to digitize the guarding experience with one single goal in mind, and that's to help make our world a safer place. Now, we knew that in order to protect our clients' needs today and anticipate their risks for tomorrow, we needed to continue to invest and innovate in the way that we serve our clients, further augmenting security with technology and innovation to bring the best solutions to our clients in the marketplace. Now, when COVID and the labor shortages hit our industry and all those others around the world, we were really impacted and wanted to accelerate even faster our transformation. And we focused on three key areas to do that. The first was investing in the way we recruit, train, and retain our employees. The second was further augmenting our physical security programs to provide more innovation and technology. And the third was to improve better client experiences with bringing more value to our clients and allowing them real-time access to their security operations and insights into their business through mobile applications and client portals.
We're at one of the most consequential turning points in the industry right now. As consequential as the shift from analog to IP, we are seeing both integrators and end users making a bigger push towards connected systems. And I'm not talking about cloud-only systems here. I think our industry has set up a sort of false dichotomy between on-premises and cloud, which I don't think is helpful to anybody. What we are seeing is we're seeing our most sophisticated channel partners and our most adventurous and intelligent intelligent end users, really taking advantage of the entire surface of computing that's available, from on-premises storage to edge computing and IoT, as well as cloud computing. This is taking a huge approach to where you can get a job done and where it makes most sense to get the job done. Customers want that flexibility, and I would say over the next 3 years, we're going to see a massive transition at every level of the market, but especially at the enterprise space, where customers are looking for that flexibility to design their systems the way they want to design them and not be stovepiped into simple decisions around cloud or on-prem. They want it all, and they want to do it all in a unified way. So that's really what we're thinking about this year at GSX.
So how is iPro using AI responsibly? Well, it's very important that we take privacy very seriously. And we're using AI to reduce time for the operator. We are anonymously collecting metadata. So for example, we may know that the object is a human and they're wearing a red shirt. And because today's cameras are generating such high rates of volume, it's important that at iPro, we're following NIST standards to ensure that that data is cyber secured.
Well, the biggest trends we're seeing right now when it comes to how companies are thinking about supply chains and their operational risk footprint is that they're really struggling to grapple with the rising geopolitical tensions while we're also seeing kind of an increasingly constrained regulatory environment. And what that has caused is that the legacy models of thinking about supply chain and operational risk, which have been very consultant-driven, 6-month-long, $1 million projects, are out of date as soon as they get delivered. And so what we need to do is look at faster AI-enabled solutions that let you stay up to the minute on top of these risks as they're emerging all around the world. One of the other things we're hearing from a lot of companies in this space is that the number and breadth of risks is also really increasing. So it's no longer just some companies worry about cyber risk while other companies have to worry about reputational risk. Every company is kind of a victim potentially of every type of risk. So the other real need we're hearing from the market is the need for a holistic solution that lets you understand kind of the full 360 of kind of where you're at vulnerability.
What keeps security professionals up at night? What about the crises that make the news every day? How do events that play out on the world stage impact security? Understanding these issues, from ethics violations to natural disasters to space-age technology, can help elevate an adequate security program to an extraordinary one. Here are some security experts and GSX Game Changer presenters to tell us more.
Ethics matter because it means everything. It's your brand, it's your reputation. We have fought for years for corporate security or CSOs to have a seat at the table. And when you have a seat at the table, your brand, your ethics, your values, your cultural references all really matter. If you don't have ethics, there's consequences. And we're in a position now that we can influence leaders, we can influence the C-suite. And your integrity, the trust you have with others, how people view you, all matter and make a difference. And you must lead yourself first with high ethical standards, so therefore you can lead your team. And from that standpoint, your team can lead the program. Ethics matters beyond anything. I was the CSO at Wells Fargo. I experienced unethical behavior. I watched it take down a brand and reputation of a company that I still adore. It impacted hundreds of thousands of individuals. And as a CSO, I did make a difference. My staff made a difference. And the reality is ethics is everything. Thank you.
No GSX experience is complete without a visit to the ASIS bookstore. Pick up your copy of The Protection of Assets, the ultimate resource for any security professional. Studying for one of ASIS's 4 professional certifications? Find recommended reading and study guides at the bookstore. Don't miss the new, updated version of Implementing Physical Protection Systems, a must-have for those studying for the PSP designation. New GSX branded merchandise is also on hand, including polo shirts for each certification, pullovers, t-shirts, and charging sets. What keeps security professionals up at night? What about the crises that make the news every day? How do events that play out on the world stage impact security? Understanding these issues, from ethics violations to natural disasters to space-age technology, can help elevate an adequate security program to an extraordinary one. Here are some security experts and GSX Game Changer presenters to tell us more.
ESG is about caring. ESG is about the environment. It's about the S, which is the social, and it's about the G, which is the governance. Let me tell you an experience I had recently when I was down in Costa Rica as part of my master's program. And I was doing a course down there, and I met with, and I got my fingernails dirty, and I met with the locals and local producers and the local co-ops there, and they've done the E very well there. Their deforestation policies are one of the best that I've seen in terms of making sure that the forests are there for future generations. One of the co-ops there on the S, they have done a phenomenal job, and he first said to me, what we ensure is the dignity of our coffee growers, and that's about the S, that's about the people, that's about the community, and they also give back to the community, and that's what the S also does. The governance piece, again, they're measuring how much forest is being protected year over year. So when I took that back now to my company, I went out and learned about what our ESG policy is, and I tried to understand it more. And moving forward, I plan to take that policy and apply it into the physical security world. And security practitioners can do that by speaking to their partners who they do business with to ensure that they have an ESG policy, and taking that policy and putting KPIs on it and measurements on it. So there's a lot that security practitioners can do in our own environment. But first and foremost, I encourage all security practitioners to go out and learn about their ESG policy at work and how it can apply to their world. And usually those policies then can cascade down in the physical security world to your partners that you do business with.
School safety and security is one of the most critical issues facing the security industry. Experts here at GSX have insights into the most important steps schools can take to prevent violence.
I think one of the key aspects in security today, school security, is a digital threat assessment aspect, or DTA. And some of the finest minds in behavioral science and behavioral studies on children and on threats have now agreed that the digital aspect, without the digital aspect, you're not doing the full spectrum of the threat that's potentially in your school or outside of your school. And I kind of phrase it this way. It's almost like the reverse Avatar world, where when Avatar started 10 or 15 years ago and people played games like SimCity, they created a life for themselves that you would only see in their Avatar world. But in 2023, especially in the adolescent arena, it's kind of changed, it's flipped. So the child that you see at school isn't really the child who the person is in reality. And what we find now in 2023, that most people reflect who they are and their intentions digitally, online, on platforms like TikTok or all the other platforms that are out there. So without looking at the full spectrum of the possible threat, then we're doing ourselves a disservice. The behavioral threat assessments are outstanding. Target hardening schools are outstanding. Education is outstanding. But in my opinion, and some of the key leaders, or most of the key leaders in this, in the world of school security, now agree that without digital threat assessment, we've really left a lot to be desired.